What's going on, guys? Sorry, it's probably late for some of you, so I don't really expect anyone to jump on. Typically, I do this at night, but at night, and it's my day off. My name's Tiger, sorry. At night, the family's sleeping, and it does disrupt them to some degree. That's why I'm doing it in the daytime, just a little easier. Anyway, today I want to talk a little bit about just work and culture in Japan, because I've lived in Japan for like 10 years now. In about one third of my life. So I always find it funny uh, that some people might say, "You don't know crap about Japan. You don't know anything." It's like in school, my major was Japanese for about 10 minutes until I got tired of reading 200-page books every single night. On top of my side major was 8 hours a day on top of 4 jobs, full time school. It just became too much. So I just switched my major to art. Anyways, yeah, working culture in Japan. If you look at Japanese culture overall, everything evolves around work ethic, right? Like even if you're not like the most stupendous worker in the world, thinks a thumbs up, as long as they see that you're working hard, what's going on, man? Haven't seen you in a while. I'm using my phone. I'm hoping the mic is a little better than my iPad. I think my iPad might be dying, which is kind of sad because I got my iPad like 2019. It's brand new. Even has the new OS 14.2 and all that crap. So okay, you can hear it. And the quality's not too bad. This is actually a Samsung Galaxy, and it cost me $50 in Hawaii back when I lived in Hawaii. Anyways, yeah. So I just want to talk about work ethics in Japan, stuff like that. Some of the things I had to kind of sort of deal with. Of course, you got your discrimination, but I got that in America, so that it's nothing new. I wasn't crying over that. And then like, unfortunately, the excuse for everything that ever misunderstood in Japan is like, you don't understand, you're a foreigner, you don't understand the culture. It's like, imagine if I just randomly punch you in the face and you're like, oh my god, why would you do that? And I'm like, that's Japanese culture. Well, it's like that. That's what it feels like sometimes, kind of. I'm not saying it's that on that level, but when people mess with you or mess with your job and you're trying to provide for your family or yourself, and then their excuse every other time is that's Japanese culture. It kind of sucks a little. I mean, over the years, I've learned and adjusted to culture here and stuff. I do still find myself having some slight problems with management and or Japanese culture because their culture is really strict. How's it going? Olympia Horton. How's it going? Yeah, so their culture is slightly strict, and I'm being nice. It's completely strict. So I mean, if you can deal with that, it's fine. Uh, that aspect of the culture is also the good point about that is it moves a little slower here, right? Like back in the day where you had the old school telephone and all that stuff, and things just move slowly. It's like that here, and it feels kind of nice sometimes. Where America feels like it moves at 1,000 miles an hour, and they're like, oh, it's a new app, and you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about. The new iPhone 12, the new iPhone 36. You're like, weren't we on 8 like a month ago? So like Japan doesn't move that quickly. So I like that. I feel like I can breathe and catch up. So the culture is slower. But work wise, like for example, you cannot really question your boss too much. I think I've already mentioned this in previous videos. Yeah, all iPhones are the same. Like they're like our newest model with our newest chip. Then you see it, and it's like the pixel resolution, and it's like I can't tell. They're like it's in 4K. I mean, like the human eye cannot see in 4K, so why do I need 4K or beyond? That's a whole different subject. Makes me laugh. Like people are like, I got the new 8K TV. It's just like it doesn't matter. You can't see that well. A computer can. They just want the money. Don't get me on iPhones and Androids and money. Oh my god, it just drives me crazy. Like I used to be a iPhone boy. I still am connected to that. It's hard to get away from. Once you're like everything is like Apple, it's just hard to get away from that ecosystem. The same with Android. So if you start hating Android, you're just kind of stuck there. But at least it's cheaper. Anyways, but like for example, my current boss. I'm changing the subject back to the actual subject. During the interview, she was super nice. Yeah, Tim Cooks. Oh my god. Yeah, I'll make a whole new video about iPhone. Just a rant, or maybe I'll just make one of those spoofy commercials. I don't know. But what Tim Cook's doing is exactly what Steve Jobs said not to do. He said, "Don't make an iPhone every year. Don't make shit it doesn't matter." Like, I don't know. But my current boss, she was super nice during the interview, right? Go to the interview by myself. My Japanese level is, I would say it's good enough to be able to go to a job interview and catch most of it. If I have any serious problems, then they work with me, whatever. So my boss all nice at first. You know how it is. People all nice at first. And even working there, everyone is perfectly nice for the first month and stuff. And this is my experience with every single job I worked out in Japan. It's equivalent to being the new kid at any high school, right? You're popular for like the first month, and then everyone forgets about you, unless you move into the popular crowd. But you still got to keep on doing things to be popular. Anyways, so my boss was very nice at first. You know, do you have a kid? Oh yeah, I have a kid. How old's your kid? Oh, 10. Oh, mine too. Where's your kid go to school at? No, no, no. Like like kind of like that small talk, that connection, whatever. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I try to make videos whenever I can. I've been pretty busy. Like literally, I wake up so early. Yesterday, there's a special day where for girls, my daughter just turned 10, and that's like a huge day. So we ran around to all the family members. She had a kimono on, taking pictures. I haven't slept. My eyes are just like, falling on my head. Then I had to go to work for, today. And that was kind of hard. But yeah, so I haven't had time to make videos too much, and I always want to like make my old school videos where I can run around and shoot like 20-second shots of everything and then edit it together all nicely. I love that. I just don't have time. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, her birthday was Halloween, so she was pretty excited. She was an anime character, Nezuko from Demon Slayer. Anyways, back to the interview. So I got the interview, got the job, whatever. And it was only for a part-time job, 2 hours a night, 6 days a week. I was like, all right, cool. All my coworkers are like way older than me. We're talking like 20, 30 years older than me. So to me, I'm like I was just born yesterday. They would give me advice and they would giggle to themselves. They're like, I feel like I'm his mom or something. You know what I mean? I'm just like, look, guys, I've never worn boots like this before. I've never worn an outfit like this before. I'm a youngin. I'm like, there's only like two girls there that like around my age. You know, everyone else is like talking about their grandkids and all this stuff. I'm just like, I can't relate. I mean, like, you're older than my dad. So, but anyways, but yeah, so people there are awesome. They're nice. Like I bought gloves, they were pretty crappy. They bought gloves for me. I was like, all right, awesome, cool. On my birthday, they bought me a birthday cake. So this job has been pretty awesome so far compared to previous jobs. I would say every job previously sucked. And it's not like the people, it's usually management. And if you're doing English working with Japanese people, like I don't know. I don't know why. I couldn't do it. I couldn't make it. Like I don't know if they just automatically hated me. I never even said a word. Like one job I went to, I was late, never been there before. They gave me a map so old. I'm pretty sure it was in the Bible. Like if you look at open the Bible to the first pages and they show the map, it was part of the Bible. It was an old ass map. To find this location, got there, and the Japanese girl was like, "Why were you late?" I was like, "I couldn't find the place," and then she proceeded to cuss me out. So I was like, "What, bitch?" And I cussed her out. Right? She's like, "I'm calling management." I was just like, "To say what?" The new guy came, he couldn't find the location, so I cussed him out. I mean, what are you talking about? Give me a little slack here. And that was my experience with that job. That job lasted exactly 1 week. So that was my first experience. 5 minutes later from that, uh, like the new boss is like, "Oh, we got a bunch of new people, so we're gonna go out do training. We're gonna take you guys out to eat, explain how things go." He spent like most of the night smoking and going on. Then one girl, she was super nice. She seemed like a pretty good teacher and all that stuff. She informed him that she's leaving. She already gave him like 2 weeks notice or a month's notice or whatever. And he was all drunk and he called her a whore. He's like, if you want to leave, you're a fucking whore. Leave, you stupid bitch. Like, then all the guys at the table just kind of stopped and paused, right? I was just like, oh god, this day is just not gonna go well. So the manager almost got beat up that day. He was this close to getting beat up by every single guy that worked underneath him. That so I'm pretty sure he got fired after that. Yeah, yeah. So it's hard to click. Like that's why I always say if you find a good place, I don't care where you're at. Even in America, I had problems in America. Everyone has problems here and there. If you find a good place where you kind of with the people and they support you, you support them. Management's not trying to railroad you or anything. You should just hang out there until you can find something, get more money. The goal is always to find like a company that you can go up. That's the idea, up. You don't want to work a job that you'll just never go up. It's a waste of time. Time is your most precious resource. The more time you have, the more money you can make. So, yeah, work with people to uplift you, all that stuff, not people that are trying to like pull you down. Like, there's one guy at my work currently. I call him Yakuza boy, even though he's like 63, but he acts like a 5-year-old. And he has the Yakuza tattoos here. I'm pretty sure he's not actually gang affiliated. But anyways, he like every other day he tries to throw me underneath the bus. Like he lies about me. He harasses me. He came to my break harassing me. I asked him very nicely, like, please leave me alone. You're not my leader. You're not my boss, and you don't know more than I do because I work like every day, and you skip work every day. He's not racist. At first, we are friends. He just like, well, thinks he's mentally ill. I really don't know. He's like this with everyone. Like literally, I've worked in this job for like 3 4 months, and he's gotten into these major screaming fights with not just me, but like one other leader. So this girl is like a leader, and they got into a screaming fight. And this is like my first month. I'm like, wow, what happened? What's going on? And the next month, it was a whole different person, another screaming. I made a video about the yeah about the drama of this, but the current drama is like he just like he's not even at work anymore. Like literally, like one of the top bosses or slightly lower bosses told me like Thomas Kuhn, I don't think he wants to work with you. I was like, thank God, because like I don't talk much or even at all sometimes, and he just harasses me, right? So yeah, I made a video about this. But let me backtrack a little bit, or maybe even go sideways. Japanese government law, pretty much, you can't get fired. Like this guy can do all this craziness, or even I don't think he's racist, or even have such a problem person, and they can't really fire him. I mean, unless he's like runs in with a knife and just starts stabbing people, you can't do much about him. So, like I said, in 3 months, he's already had three major blowout fights with people around him. Like we're talking screaming at the top of your lungs fights. And I'm sitting there like, what is going on? What happened? You know what I mean? Because from what I saw, there was nothing that constitutes such a emotional reaction. Like you put the cup in the wrong tray. I'm gonna kill you. You know what I mean? Like I'm sorry, I will try to put it in the other tray next time. I'm colorblind. I just make up crap. I don't know. But he got in a fight with me because he tried to assault me, which is not the smartest thing. And that, again, you can't fire him. And like, yeah, I screamed at him. I was screaming. I was like in his face, but they can't fire me either, right? I can literally call him next week and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna take 2 weeks off. They'd be like, why? I'm like, I want to. Click. I mean, they would think terrible of me, but I can do that. I'm not going to. You know, that'd just be terrible, and it looks terrible upon me and all Americans. But people just take time off. Like the job previously, I was working at a hotel. A girl just came back and she's like, as soon as I heard about Corona, I took 3 months off and I was gone. And they just kind of took it. You know, they couldn't do much about it. So that's problematic. So if you ever have a person who's problematic, you might want to stay away from if you're in Japan or in a country where the law, they can't quite fire you. Where I'm from, Seattle, Washington, or near Idaho or Oregon, it's called at will employees, even Hawaii. And they can fire you for having a bad haircut. You get time off. Like if you're a part timer, you get a certain amount of time off. If you work full time, and after 6 months, you get 10 days paid time off. Yeah, North Carolina. Yeah, so at least like one third of the states, it's like at will employees, right? So you can get fired for anything. You'd be like, you were 30 seconds late, and I hate your haircut. You're fired. So that's America for you, and you don't have health insurance. So good luck with that. And coronavirus, and now you do too. So that's America in some in a bad environment. Oh my god. Yeah. So, but my boss, like, I tried to switch my locker, right? Because it's like this long, narrow locker, like in high school, but like my job is, as we say, catchy catchy, or they're cheap asses. So they have these like sensors. So if you're not using the lights, it goes off. Kind of makes sense, save money, blah blah blah. So every night when I'm changing, the lights go off. And it's like pitch black, and I can't even see. So I go to my boss. And I'm like, and I like, can I change my locker? And she's like, I'll get back to you. That was a month ago, and she's never gotten back to me. And this is not the first question I've ever asked her. So like going to her about anything, absolutely nothing gets resolved. So yeah, it kind of sucks. Now I figure out a way. I just change in the bathroom inside the place, and I leave from there so I can actually see what I'm doing. I don't want to like walk outside, look like Superman, my underwear outside my pants or whatever. I mean, I could. In Japan, they probably wouldn't think much of it. I don't know. Superman, yeah, whatever. But my boss, like, I can sit here and say she's incompetent. I honestly don't know her work level, but she's probably incompetent, more than likely. But again, you can't fire her. So what are you going to do about it, right? Like, my wifey hates her. Like, they hate each other. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. I just try not to talk to either one about each other. Requirements. First of all, get a job permit. Ideally, you can visit for 3 months if there was no coronavirus, right? Then from there, if you can find a job that will sponsor you, you have to have a college degree to get sponsored. Um, that's the one thing. Or from there, you can go to school here, which again is gonna cost you a crap load of money, and you can look for a part-time job, and then hopefully switch to a full-time job and get sponsored that way. Next, you can meet someone who is Japanese, get married to them, and they can get you here very quickly. It only took my wife literally 2 months to get. It wasn't like some crazy waiting list like America. Like, we've been married for 30 years, and I applied 19 years ago to get his visa. Can you get the visa yet? And they're like, no, you still gotta wait like 3 more years. Like, seriously, I had a friend who married a Hispanic dude. He was very nice, very kind. He worked 2 jobs. He provided for his family. He had a work permit, all that stuff. It took 15 years for visa in America, but at the same time, America can be racist. It's Mexico. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I don't know. I mean, people who don't like Hispanic people would have to explain to me as to why they don't like Hispanics. I don't know. Like, part of my family is Hispanic, so grandma was Hispanic, so I'm like Hispanic, African, and like German, and some other part I'm not going to say because my friend doesn't know, and I make fun of her all the time. Actually, Irish, part Irish, and a dot of Norwegian. But I give her so much crap on St. Patrick's Day. She's like, I'm Irish. I'm like, I'm not. I'm like, F Irish people. She's like, what? But she doesn't know I'm part Irish. Anyways, that's a whole different story. But yeah, Norwegian, it's like one dot, like literally. I did a little research, like on blood, because I have like a rare blood type, and Norwegians do too, as well as there's this tribe. Was it somewhere in Spain? My clock. This is when I wake up, 11:20. I'm a lazy person. So my alarm clock's gonna. Anyways, back to work in Japan. It always just comes down to work. Work your ass off. I would told you like the three ways to get into Japan. And the other way, there's also like, for example, if you're good at music or you're a famous artist or just an artist in general, there's entertainment visas you can get. I'm not sure how easy it is to get them. It's possible though. Next, be Justin Bieber or some other famous person, and you can get in pretty easily. Paris Hilton can't. I think she's banned. Anyways, I have no idea why, but I just thought that was kind of funny. She must have did something pretty bad. But yeah, so getting to Japan is not really that hard. Currently, yes, but later on when Japan opens up, because they're going to open up because they want to do the Olympics, all that fun stuff, it shouldn't be too hard to get, a visa here. Also, in the next 10 years, they're going to have more and more foreigners working here. It's going to be way more incentive for you guys to come here. It doesn't cost that much to get to quarantine. I mean, just make sure you have enough money to survive. You get here, and they're going to quarantine you. Ideally, make friends. Go online, look at what Japanese people are doing. Fuck, excuse me, I cuss. Okay, my kids aren't here, so I do cuss. Like, just find apps that maybe Japanese people possibly are using and try to make friends. There was one called later on. I'll make a video on apps that maybe current Japanese are using. Like in the last 2 years, Japanese discovered Twitter. You might be able to meet some people that way, and also Facebook. So join a Facebook group with Japanese people. Start learning Japanese. Make connections. Whatever. I think that'll help you a lot. You can even if you become good enough friends. Yeah, they use Line. So they use Line here. Japanese people don't use WhatsApp. WhatsApp is like a world thing, and I think it's from China actually. So I'm surprised Trump hasn't banned that yet. Yeah, yeah. So, dude, I think currently Japan is compiling a list of countries that will be let in first. So your country might be like New Zealand, of course, because literally you guys had like last time I checked, and this was like 4 months ago, you had two cases. I'm sure that's probably over with by now. So like I can't remember. There's like four other countries that are thinking about letting people in. So U.S. Your cases are a little high, just a little high. In fact, the highest in the world. And your president is in the White House and on the weekend doing golf and skipping U.S. summit meeting about the coronavirus and blah 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 blah. And also not letting the new president take care of coronavirus. Dude, the U.S. isn't screwed. Don't worry, guys. Like, if Trump has a second term, you should probably worry. But other than that, I think I'm just not going to say it. I was going to say I don't think it can get any worse. But as soon as I say that, someone's gonna launch a nuclear warhead, so I'm not gonna say it. Yeah, if you have less country or less cases in your country, you're more likely to be let in Japan later on. They're, like I said, they're already making a list of countries that will probably be accepted soon. Japan wants the U.S. to fix itself. Everyone wants to do the Olympics and all that stuff and move forward and get the economy going and all that fun stuff. Yeah, so you guys don't even have that many active cases. So yeah, so my buddy Alex is from New Zealand and he's here now. I promise you guys, by 2020, I'm pretty sure they'll probably have the virus under control by then. Anyways, back to the subject. Working hard. I'm gonna give you a reference that might be random. I don't know. If you're an anime watcher like I am, Dragon Ball Z, Goku is a hero, obviously because he saves the Earth. But the main characteristic he has is the fact he works hard, work hard, work hard, work hard. So as a foreigner, they already think that depending on the country that you might be lazy. So keep that in mind from the start. So you are a lazy foreigner. So if you can show that you're not lazy, you're proactive, and you don't question the boss too much, then you should be fine to like keep your job and hopefully not be harassed too much. So you have to, yeah, gambate spirit as they call it. You have to, they'll say gambalu, so do your best, and you're all you have to just say is thank you, arigato gozaimasu, and then from there proceed to work. No matter what happens, no matter if a dragon pops out of someone's ass next to you and tries to fight you, keep working, and they will cheer you on. But the moment you let some small little thing stop you from working or achieving the work, that's when contracts. People will tell you they do, but they do not. Actually, in fact, if you have a job and the first thing they do is pull out a contract, that just gives them a right to fire you. Like my job right now, 1 year contract. After that 1 year, if they don't like me, they can fire me. But the job I had that before that, there was no contract, so I could work it forever until I die, until I'm a skeleton. This where's Thomas Kuhn? He's in the toilet. I'm like all half dead. Flies everywhere. So yeah, so if you have a contract, and most companies use contracts because if you suck, they don't like your haircut, they can get rid of you. That's the only reason they have contracts. The golden rule is they can't fire you, but if they have a contract, they can fire your ass very quickly. I have 10 contracts in my drawer, my office drawer upstairs. I could show you the contracts. I could show you all the clauses. I read these contracts like 20, 30 times each, and they're all kind of effed up. But whatever. They even refer to clauses that are not in the contract. They're like Article 516, paragraph whatever of Japanese law, and you're like looking at the contract like, what does this mean? Like, so, any problem with tattoos? Tattoos are taboo. So if you have a tattoo like I have a tattoo, cover your tattoos. Especially with older folks. Older folks have a big problem with tattoos. They're like, dame, no tattoos, basically. So every day at work, I cover my tattoos. No one has a problem. Even like, honestly, like Yakuza boy, at first we were friends, but he came over and just like, lifted my shirt and like showed my tattoo. Because he has two tattoos, right? And he was getting kind of a lecture from other people. So instead of like defending himself by himself, he decided to throw me under the bus too. So, oh, Thomas Cohen has a tattoo too. And I was just like, why are you touching me? What are you doing? But they're like, that's fine if Thomas has a tattoo, but you know better, right? So yeah, then he was kind of like grumpy for the rest of the day. But at the same time, I'm an artist. I have an excuse. Like this tattoo, I actually drew it myself on my arm, right? And in my culture, tattoos are normal. Like the first people to have tattoos were like what, military soldiers? And even here, most the people, I don't know, like at least half Americans have tattoos. Maybe they're not across your whole body. Maybe like just a little star here or something, or a little butterfly. I don't know, just whatever. It's part of my culture. So keep in mind, don't explain that to Japanese. They're not going to understand. Just hide your tattoos or don't show them if you can avoid showing your tattoos. Don't talk about it. The weirdest part about the whole like taboo of tattoos and the yakuza thing is because like yakuza is Japanese. It's very simple. Like if you're American, you cannot be a part of the yakuza, but yet they still want to use it as an excuse to not allow you into an onsen, not allow you to have a job, not allow you to move into this apartment because you have a tattoo. Even though I'm not a yakuza clearly because I'm not Japanese clearly. So, but these are old people's ideas, like older. I'm not trying to be generalize too much. Not all older people here are like have that idea, but predominantly it's an old school idea. Like baby boomers and older have this pretty horrible idea of yakuza. So I'm guessing back in their day, yakuza was pretty rampant and crazy. So yeah, so older folks are like super nice. But of course, they want to mooch off my English, which I don't mind. I don't mind teaching them for free randomly on the train for 15 minutes. They want to have an English conversation, fine. Sure, it's not a big deal. Every day I teach English to my coworkers. They're like, how do you say? And I tell them, and they teach me Japanese in return. So it works out. So, yeah. So my current job, the people I work with is pretty decent compared to my last two jobs. When I was working at McDonald's in the countryside, they were a-holes. Okay. They were straight up like making up rumors, just saying crazy stuff. Ryan Boundless. Ryan Boundless, I don't know what happened to him, man. I used to watch his stuff. I'm not saying his stuff went downhill. I just think that he just simply got tired of Japan, which people do. I watched him. He found this one dude that came to Japan, and it was a white dude, younger, maybe 25 years old, and he was only in Japan for like a year. And I don't know how he found him, but he said the most negative comments you can. His comments were so negative, it made me laugh. Like, partially because it's true, and partially because it's not true. But overall, like, he's like, this is the worst experience ever. I will never, ever come back to Japan. Yeah, I would watch Boundless just because, like, regardless of the negativity, he's actually relatively honest. People can talk all they want about him in Japan, but a lot of the shit he says is actually highly accurate. Yeah, they divorced, but at the same time, there's a few videos he made with Ria or Rie that I felt was just simply exploiting her. So maybe it's best for them both. Oh yeah, yeah, I don't mind. If you guys want to talk, it's all about the talking. I'll just kind of let you guys know that working hard is Japanese's weakness. So if you're like working, make sure your boss or some boss or whoever's in charge can see you're working your ass off. Because there's a lot of people that'll work their ass off in private, at home, on the train, anywhere else. But when they actually get the work, it doesn't look like they're working too much, and then they get frustrated because they know they're working hard, but their boss doesn't. So go overboard and make sure they know you're working like a crazy person. I don't care if you have to sing and dance like just whatever, or just even fake it. Just like sit there and just but make sure they know you're working. Don't work really hard by yourself and then expect them to know you're working because they're not gonna know. People don't have time to micromanage you. So definitely. And getting to Japan as a college student and as a just working here is very easy. Staying here, I'm not saying is easy as easy. Ideally, just get married and you're good. Marriage is probably the fastest and easiest way to get to Japan. Basically, there are other ways to get here as well. It just takes steps. The good point is Japan is really efficient at getting these visas done quickly. Where America, I don't know. Sometimes I think they're all high and they're just like, should we stamp this or should we not stamp this? I don't even care. Just he's in. He's in. He's in. Mexican. He's in. Like maybe that's Trump's process. I don't even know. We're gonna build a wall. Big wall. For all you Trump lovers, it's fine. Don't hate me because I think Trump is not a perfect president. If you voted for Trump, that's you. I didn't vote for anyone because I found out too late that you need at least a month ahead of time just to vote absentee. So I didn't even vote, so I can't say crap. But if you voted for Joe, good for you. If you voted for kiwi fruit, good for you. If you voted for Trump, good for you. So whatever. All I care about is, if America can get past the coronavirus, because like, what if there's another disease on top of that? Then we're really effed, right? Anyways, off of politics, because politics can get very, very, I don't know. People like to fight for no reason, you know. P- People fight for like, I like blue. I like red. Red's better than blue. They fight for whatever reason. So politics is just another reason to fight. So you know how it goes. Anyways, does anyone else have any other questions pertaining to visa or any other stuff? Okay, back to working at jobs. So yeah, I had a little like scruffle with one of my assistant leaders because of Yakuza Boy. Because like I wanted to take the trash out early because it was stacked to the ceiling, which shouldn't seem like a big deal. Not really. He's like, that's not how we do it. I was just like, well, I asked the main leader, the head leader, Kacho, who's in charge of the whole department, if I could take the trash out. So she said it's okay. So yeah. What made me go to Japan? The recession. There was no jobs. And my wifey was a nurse who can make quite a bit of money. So she's like, let's just move to Japan. And I was like, okay. So like me coming to Japan versus like say someone else coming to Japan because that's their dream. It's slightly different. I like to tell people this ahead of time because I know there's a lot of people that really want to come here and they really like it's their goal, their dream. And like I'm not like boundless. I'm not gonna say dream crusher on the title unless it's anime. I'll let you know there's no low gravitation here, okay, guys? So if I punch someone, they're not going into the atmosphere. That'd be awesome, but no, no, not really. So I wish there was low gravitation here. That'd be awesome. I'll just jump to work like the Hulk, I'd like, and land. But yeah, and there's no like slow motion walking at this on the side of the river or anything like that. Girls here are not super easy. Like in like I swear in anime, girls are just like they trip and their clothes falls off. You know what I mean? Like in scary movies when they're running upstairs, you don't know why they're running upstairs because once they go upstairs, they're effed, right? Because what are they gonna do? Jump out the window? I mean, they could, I guess. So Japan is not like that. It's nothing like anime. I wish it was like anime. If it was, I would be like the opposite of Ryan Boundless. I'd be like, Japan is awesome. It's crazy. It has low gravitation. I punched this guy. He flew into the sky. Yeah, it'd just be awesome. Well, the whole unemployment thing hit here too. Japan is not like thriving. I'm not saying it's like got hit as hard as New Zealand or America or the UK or these other countries. However, a lot of stores closed up. Like literally, the company that takes care of this apartment, I went there 4 months back, and I was just asking simple questions. And then I wanted to come back, 2 months later, ask him something else, but the whole closed. I was like, what the hell? So you have like all these like main streets, every single shop is closed by besides like the convenience stores. So like economically, everyone across the world has been hit pretty hard by this virus. In the end of the day, if you're say you're like an entrepreneur or something, you just gotta look at who is still standing, right? And everyone who's still standing has their business on the internet. For example, what's his name? Jeff Benzo, Amazon. Whoever is still standing, that's what you should be doing. That's all I can say. Yeah, if you can live with your in-laws, I would totally do it. Like not Japanese in-laws. Sorry, that's just me here. My wife's family's so complicated, it makes my head explode. Okay, so Hey, that's not too bad. Like, there's some people in America that's not getting crap, and they're getting evicted right now as we speak with no health care because, yeah, they're trying to kind of sort of dismantle, as they call it, Obamacare. I don't know why, but universal health care, which is the idea has been around since the 1990s. But yeah, it's a whole other story. But my Japanese in-laws are they're really bound up in culture. Like I have, for example, let's just say like okay, you're married to a Japanese person, and then like they have like a little sister or brother. Let's say sister, okay, and she gets pregnant by a guy and she's not married. It's such a huge taboo here. Like it's such like looked upon badly. Like America 1950s and 40s back in the day at that time. It's like that here now. I need free money. Free money is not bad. So, money should not be locked up in someone's hand. It should be locked up in my hand. No, it should be free in my hand. But yeah, the taboos here are pretty it's just America back in 1950s and 60s and stuff. You know what I mean? Like culturally they're kind of behind in old school. I'm not going to diss them for it. It's good and bad. It's always a double-edged sword to it. So, with technology moving so quickly. Japan is like struggling and hurrying up to try to get their 5G network because their network's so old and crappy. Even though Japan has like the highest, they charge the highest for their cell phones in the whole world. Well, Japan is dominated by older folks, and let's be honest, so is America. Like, look at the GOP, the whatever Congress. Is there anyone in Congress honestly like under 25? Anyone? Is there any government in America like even between 20 and 30? Probably not, right? You got people in Congress has been in Congress like, Mitt Romney, whatever. Is that his name? Whatever. I was listening to a Malcolm X speech, right? It's called The Ballad of the Bullet, and he mentions Mitt Romney by name. So that's how long he's been in fucking office. So I'm just amazed that the younger generation, especially like millennials, are not doing, they should just run for fucking office. Fuck it. You know, as much as I love baby boomer ideas or people beyond that, are seeing 73-year-old men dancing like this or 78-year-old men. I don't know if Joe danced or not. He probably just got a black rapper to do it. Trump got what? Trump got Kanye West, Lil Wayne, and Little Pump. Who did Joe get? Rap has changed dramatically. It's become political. No, I don't know. I just think it's hilarious. It's like it's like a show. It's like I don't even know anymore. It's a whole thing though. In Japan hasn't moved that far yet. But eventually, Japan will be calling Little Wayne and Little Pump and all of them, and you got to win somehow. Like Shinzo Abe, which is the current prime minister, and he's been the prime minister for 8 years, is stepping down. Baby boomers. Yeah, baby boomers are. I'm not gonna say they're dying. Okay, they're dying off. Let's be honest. My grandma was a baby boomer. She died like 6 years back, but she died of some other stuff. But I just think from a generational standpoint, see this could be a whole nother video. From a generational standpoint, like 10 to 18, then 18 to 20, 30 to 40, blah blah blah. Like they literally, I feel like, live in different cultures and times. Like we all live in the same timeline, but what we want, what we do, how we see things, what we say, like, oh, you're simping on that girl. If you said that to some older dude, he'd be like, what the hell does that mean? Simping on a girl? You know what I mean? Then other people are like, oh, that's dope. That's fat. And they just have all these different words, just different lingo, different understanding. Like it's like a whole different culture all in the same timeline in America. Yeah, ran by old farts. Well, I mean, a lot of them they're career politicians. Their simple goal is to stay in power. It doesn't matter if they're going to sit there and aim towards racists. If racist is the majority that will get them elected, they'll do it. Or if all Latinos, then they'll do it. If it's all black people, then they'll do it. They do whatever it takes to get elected. So I don't know if I can judge harshly. The question for you guys is, would you do the same thing? You know, if you're a career politician and if you have to stay in power, then I'm guessing you would just have to do whatever it takes, right? Sheeple, the sheeple and the people, right? But that same mentality happens in Japan too. I just studied the last 200 years of Japan's political whatever. They've only had one transition of group power back in 1970, and it's been relatively the same ever since then. But Japan, and again, this could be a whole different video, is an amazing country because they went from like literally having no technology back 1920 and further back. They had like no technology beyond like boats and fishing nets, and they grew hemp. They were pretty big on hemp. They didn't smoke weed though. Anyways, to now, right? Where like they literally could have made the iPhone 30 years ago. They just didn't. I don't know. Maybe they're not creative enough. Maybe they didn't think about it. But they're pretty technical. I can't even talk, guys. Technic. I just woke up. They're pretty advanced in technology, and yet they're not ahead of the game. They do make quite a bit of the technology that goes into iPhones. Like one third of technology is created in Japan. I know this just because my friend's dad, he helped create the very first iPad, and he might have worked on other iPads too. I don't know. It really house prices. That's a good question, dude. I'm gonna have to answer that later, but I guarantee it's definitely not that much. I'm pretty sure you can probably get a house for half the price, but keep in mind, to some degree, it's half a house. Japanese houses are way smaller, so yeah. I'm an average guy in American, so I'm like maybe 5'10", maybe 190 or less, and I'm like Godzilla in some places. My feet like are just on the edge of being able to buy shoes. If my foot was even like a centimeter more, I would have to have them special ordered. So houses here are small. Yeah, that's a good question. What like New Zealand? Um, I saw my friend's a YouTuber. I saw her video of New Zealand. New Zealand looked fairly beautiful, and when the coronavirus hit New Zealand, you guys really had it under wraps. I mean, you guys did sacrifice, and you had to like be on lockdown just like America, but you guys like took care of it very quickly. Like I don't even know why America didn't follow that or any other country that beat the coronavirus. So, but New Zealand looked beautiful. But at the same time, my friend did say, like, unfortunately, a lot of New Zealanders don't really like black people too much. So I was like, can I go still? Like, am I gonna have problems? Here in Japan, yeah, how it's the opposite of America. You know how American market goes up and down. Typically, that's because of manipulation on Wall Street's part. But in Japan, it pretty much just goes down. It depreciates, depreciates, depreciates until it's just dust. So investing in housing in Japan, I feel might be a mistake currently. Within the next 5 to 10 years, it might not be. It might go the way of you get an old house, you renovate, you sell it, you might make money. That's crazy. I'm gonna research that housing crisis. So what exactly is the crisis? Is the crisis that like everything costs too much, basically, or is it just lack of houses? Or sorry to get off topic, guys. I was just curious about that one question because you have a housing crisis. So okay, I see, I see, I see. Yeah, I'm guessing that's happening in America too. Here, um, maybe here as well. I'm in the countryside, so people get paid garbage. garbage in the first place. So for me, like getting my driver's license, because I made the mistake of not transferring my license to an international license and then getting my license here. I didn't know the process until like 10 years too late. Well, I honestly don't know what to say about that, because I saw a documentary about 7 years ago that talked about how the economy in the world's going to go. So every person, wow, okay. Yeah, you probably, this is my thoughts. I could be wrong, but I honestly believe unless you're like into a specialty area, such as like, like science, a professor, even being a professor, there's no guarantee of a job beyond 3 years unless they really like you, unless you're really young, because ageism here is a problem, or an engineer or a doctor. Nurses make so. But the money you make in Japan, say versus the U.S., you're gonna make more money in the U.S. But at the same time, you're gonna spend more money as well. So it's really difficult to kind of compare these markets sometimes. Yeah, yeah. So that's crazy. So if you even had $500,000, you came to Japan, you could buy yourself a really decent house in Tokyo, or you can buy where I'm at. You can probably buy 4 or 5 little small houses and rent them out. Yeah, yeah. I definitely never like. I'll just be homeless. I'll be the dude in tent making YouTube videos. You'd be like, that homeless guy has a phone. That homeless guy has an iPhone 12. We should probably rob him. So that'd be my prized possession. I'd be like Gollum from Lord of the Rings with my iPhone 12, like my precious. Because I can't, I wouldn't have a house, obviously. And that's exactly what's going to happen if you have no jobs and the economy is crashing, and the housing is like too unaffordable and you have to live with your parents for the rest of your life. People are going to leave. But that this is sorry, might be a worldwide problem eventually. It's so like even if you leave New Zealand or any other country, it might happen everywhere. It's like a domino effect. So it's going to happen here. There's many 30-year-olds, 30 between 30 and 40, that are living with their mom and dad. So they work some job, they come home, and their mom cooks them dinner. Right, right. It's going to be a tough time the next 10 years. I mean, the government, all these governments can sit here and pretend like it's going to get better. It's going to get better. Read the book Animal Farm. Okay, the motto for Animal Farm was it's going to get better, and they would always say that, and it would always get worse. So every single time that it got worse, they said it's going to get better, and to a point where people were starving to death and pretty much homeless. It's a good read. It only took me about a half hour to read, and I'm a slow reader. So it's a short book. It's only like 90 pages or something like that. It's a great book. It's a great book. It shows transitions of power, and how like with great power comes great corruption, and they use media manipulation to illustrate. Yeah, that really doesn't surprise me. America had their crisis, like what was that, last year before? America seems to have a crisis every 2 years. It's like they have so many crises that people don't even notice anymore. Just like school shootings. There's a point in time where school shootings like once a month. People are like, oh, again? I feel like honestly in the future, if people just lose their shit, people are just not going to play by the rules anymore. I mean, if you're going to grow up in a world where like the rules that once were, you work hard, you go up the ladder, you make your money, you have a family, you buy a house, and everything's happy. If that rule is gone, I think people are going to change their mind and not follow that magic social contract, and they're just going to come take your house. There's a shitload of guns. I mean, I don't know about New Zealand. Maybe you guys don't have guns. I know Australia doesn't, Japan doesn't. but they're going to take whatever weapons they have and they're just going to take whatever they want. If people see like this big rich dude on this big mansion enjoying his little life, and in the corner his two kids are starving to death, and this is a whole village of people or a city, they're going to be uprisings, not just protests, but real uprisings. So hopefully the future doesn't go that route. But what would you do if your family was starving and you're watching them die in front of you? That's like a Dr. Seuss rhyme, a really, really terrible one. And what would you do with your mama? Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, so like as wages stay flat, they don't go up with inflation of housing cost, and young people are forced to stay with their parents, and they're also starting to have to choose between actually getting college and not going to college. Like this is a real option now. They're like, I don't think I can afford college, so I'm not going to go to college. Also, if you go to college, there's absolutely no guarantee you'll get a job afterwards. So what's the point of having a loan that you can never pay off? They'll never go away. So shit, dude. When you talk about inheriting things, it reminds you of Trump. You know, him in particular, because he's the only one that mentioned it. I'm sure other rich people inherit crap, but he was just like, my dad only gave me $1 million. I was just like, my eye roll, right? Only $1 million? That's crazy. What a jerk. Yeah, yeah. So like people are starting to figure out college. I'm not gonna sit there and say it's a scam necessarily, but the idea of it, it's just outdated. They need a transition. I could also say some other crap in here, which I'm not sure if I should say. But anyways, you know me, I'll say it. If you can get college loans from banks, something that you can write off later on, that'd be better than getting a college loan from actual college, which you can never write off. Keep in mind, college is like McDonald's and a weight gym, because I wouldn't be surprised if McDonald's owns all the weight gyms. So sick, and they might also own doctors as well, because you have to go to the doctor, get your medication, blah 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 blah. Then from there, around Christmas time, still though, what a jerk! Only $10,000. You know what my dad gave me? Advice. He's like, work hard. Here's a watch and $50. That's what he gave me. Yeah, there was a TED Talk which I thought was about 10 years behind. And this is a recent TED Talk talking about how college is being destroyed by e-learning. I was like, really? You just figured that out? So I see a lot of crap that makes me laugh, like the whole coronavirus stuff. Literally, like 2 months ahead of time, there's other locations in the world already talking about it. Or TikTok. I already knew 2 years ahead of time that DataByte, a Chinese company, had a super intelligence that actually, is following everyone. But it took 2 years for the U.S. to figure that out. You have to wonder what else are they like not seeing. All I did is Google it. You know what I mean? Google is magic. I'm joking. No, but that shit's true. I already figured that one out. I wish I would have went to like a different country and went to college for free. My buddy, he did. He went to Germany. He learned German. He went to college there for free. He's still in Germany to this day, and he makes a crap load of money. I wish I would have did something like that. Instead of taking debts out until my eyes bleed in America and not using banks or even small little business, not business loan, but sorry, my brain's not working right now. I'm a little tired. But yeah, just basically don't use like Sally Mae. Don't use school lending. There was one Asian dude, okay? He's American Asian, whatever, but he was really smart, and he's really good at writing essays. He wrote over 2,000 essays and won enough money through essay contests to pay for all of his college. So, yeah. So it's definitely possible to pay for your college other ways if you're inclined to still go to college. Ideally, even if my own kids, I'm gonna tell them very clearly, if you don't want to go, if you do not want to go to college, you don't have to. Okay, in the next 10 years, since Japanese are not popping out kids like they should, and they're not really replacing the old workers from the baby boomer generation or generations, after that, they're going to need an increase of foreign workers. So you're going to see in the next 10 years, Japan's going to be inviting more and more different countries to come work. But depending on the country, because Japan, to some degree, is prejudice. I'm not going to say we're sugarcoat this bullshit. I'm not saying everyone's racist or prejudiced. I feel like America's racist. Japan has prejudice, which is it's a preconceived notion based on whatever American told, because they have a fairly decent relationship with America. So if America is like, yeah, these type of people are like that, and Japan's like, oh, really, and these type of people are like that. Oh, okay, oh, really. So they just don't know. So they have their own slight prejudice, plus their really cultural whatever. But they're gonna like say America fixes itself. They're gonna be like, okay, we need I don't know, 300,000 American workers, ideally between the ages of 20 and 30 years old, or New Zealand, or whatever country, or any country, you know, and they're going to be bringing a lot more foreigners, and there's going to be a lot more opportunity, but the opportunity is not going to be in English, okay? In the last 10 years, the English industry has diminished, okay? It's going down. This is exactly why I'm working a Japanese job, not an English job. It sucks, I'm making less money, but in the future, I will have a job because my Japanese ability is going up and I will be more useful in that capacity. But so if later on, if you want to jump on the English train, the train might be very small, or there might be not. It might only be like the jet program and a few companies left. So it's not like it was back in the 90s, or even 10, before that. Sorry, I said it backwards. Okay, so it's not like it was 10 years ago, and it's not like it was 20 years ago. In the 90s was the bubble, the burst, okay? So the English industry is going like this. Me and my friends joke, we laugh, we call it the slow climb to the bottom, or whatever, spiral to the bottom, because the wages have dropped out. It's gotten to a point where people can barely afford to even live in Japan, even though they're making more than average Japanese people. So to put that in context, I always think to myself, okay, when I was teaching English, that I make twice as much as they do, maybe even more than that, and I'm barely surviving. So I work harder, but I feel bad that they're working twice as much, maybe two jobs, just to make the same amount of money to survive. This is exactly why half these, college kids cannot leave from their parents' house. So unless you're like a nurse, doctor, lawyer, I don't even know about lawyers in Japan because people don't sue like Americans. We'll skip lawyer, politician, inherited the money, rich in some capacity, maybe you own your own business. I measure by trial and error. I measure by how much I get yelled at or how much they tell me no to do that. For example, I came here back in January and I went to Hello Work. Hello Work is a place where you go to look for jobs. It's like an official public place. They have Hello Work all throughout the country. When I first came here, they couldn't understand me at all, period. So I had to go with my wife. And then, but now I went there last week and I can actually have a conversation for 20 minutes. So that's how I know I improved my Japanese. As well as every week I read a book. I know exactly what level of Japanese I'm at in Japanese. Right now, my daughter is in fourth grade. My reading level is third grade. So I'm a third grader reading level. My kanji level is probably like second to third grade. I know about 500 kanji, but that's not enough. I need to know at least 2,000, like 200, just so you can read a newspaper. So it's very difficult to gauge your Japanese after a while, but you'll figure it out. Some kind of system, a way to, you go to McDonald's, you try to order, you fail. You come back after you study for 4 months to that same McDonald's, You try to have a conversation, and maybe you talk for 5 minutes, and they kind of sort of understood you. Okay, I'm improving. And any point where you feel that makes you faster at learning Japanese, hold on to that technique and use it like that. Like last night, I was really questioning how I'm like learning Japanese, the speed, because for me it's very slow. I feel like too slow. So I'm right currently I'm looking for other techniques to improve my Japanese. So, and looking through YouTube videos is definitely not enough, and or TED Talks. All right, man. I'll catch you later, man. I'll catch you on Facebook. Okay, I was working at McDonald's, but they're all jackasses, at least in the countryside, not Osaka. Then from there, I moved to a hotel job. They insisted I make the beds every 5 seconds, and they wouldn't train me to do anything else. And then they accused me of, I don't know, drinking too much of the liquid that I was allowed to drink, even though I didn't do it. And I was just like, "Are you sure you want to go down this road? Because, I already found a new job." And the lady's just like, "Just don't do it again." And I was like, "Okay, that's fine." I put up with that for like a week more. Then from there, I was like, "Can I switch from making beds to learn something new?" And she was like, "No." And I was like, "All right," I quit, and I just left. The end. And then I went to this current job, which is washing dishes. It's hot. It sucks. The job itself, it's pretty easy. Everyone speaks Japanese, and I'm learning Japanese. I'm teaching English, and I get paid, and that's all. Management is not that great, but every single job I've ever worked here, management, it has never been great. So it's nothing new. It's not a big deal. Just gotta keep that in mind. So under the idea that management's gonna suck everywhere, you probably should get a job that you can make the most money you can possibly in the area you're at. So I started at $8 an hour. Now I'm making 9.50, and I'm about to jump to a new job and hopefully make about 10 or more. And then from there, I want to try to get to construction or back into English teaching into an international school where I can make like $3,000 again, because that's how much I was making before. Basically, working these low jobs helped me appreciate what I had before to some degree, and also helped me to realize that how much bullshit I can take from managers. And at this point, I can take anything, even no breaks. I don't give a fuck. If you're gonna pay me $3,000 to $4,000, I'll take your bullshit. Then lie. See, you have a degree. The end. Most people's reaction is to not lie because most people are honest, and that's my reaction as well. I'm super honest. I say whatever I want all the time, or I just hold my tongue. Like Bambi. If you don't have nothing good to say, don't say it at all, and never lie. Honestly, sadly, lying a little bit will get you farther than not lying. I've learned this when I was like 15, you know, and I know it sounds like I'm a jerk, but guys lie to the girls all the time to get the girl, you know what I mean? So you gotta lie a bit. I'm not saying go overboard, like, yeah, I got a master's degree and blah, 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 but there's some companies that simply don't check, you know? For example, Interact, they check. Blue Dolphin, they do check. They'll be like, send the degree to me, right? So if you know that ahead of time, don't lie to them and don't apply if you don't have a degree, or go get a degree and give me your degree, or ask your friend if you can borrow his degree. Then get Photoshop for $10 a month. Then erase, put your name on top there, then send them that. So you can do whatever you want. I don't know if that's illegal or not. You might not want to follow my advice, but you can do it. I can do it. Graphic design is one of the things I can do. So I could take your degree and just change your name, put my name on it. I gotta go. Peoples are home. But later, guys. Sorry not to stay completely on the subject. We should talk Japanese together if you guys are practicing one day. Peace.